Hi everyone, my name is Chloe and I'm here today to do the Booktube Newbie Tag. So I did this tag originally when I first had a channel in whatever year that was, 2017 maybe, but things have obviously changed quite a bit since then and I've deleted all those videos anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and do it again. So I will try to link the original down below. I don't think I could find it, but I'll try my best to link something down below. So the first question is, why did you start this channel? So I started this channel because I have been a booktube watcher since 2016 or 17. My sister got me into it and I just love watching it. I started a channel for a while I was pregnant with my first daughter, and then just pregnancy got the best of me and I stopped, and so I didn't have a channel for very long, but I really missed the interaction. You can get interaction as just a viewer, but the interaction is so much greater when you are a content creator as well. And so I really missed that, really wanted to be even more a part of the community. And so really just that interaction and bookish friends. I also am a stay-at-home mom now. I have a 2-year-old and I'm about to have another little girl, and I just don't have very many creative outlets for myself. I have always worked and I don't now. I stay home, and so I just needed something to, like a hobby that would allow me some productivity and just something to do for me. And so this channel has been wonderful for that and I love it. So question number 2, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to YouTube? I don't know. I really don't think I'm doing anything that will reinvent the wheel on YouTube or BookTube, but I have a pretty diverse reading taste. I like to read all sorts of different things. I read backlist and new. I read all sorts of genres, and so I guess that I also have found it to be a lot easier to just vlog constantly. And I personally prefer watching people's vlogs as opposed to more traditional sit-down videos. So vlogs, eclectic reading taste. I also love doing buddy reads and readathons and that kind of stuff. So you'll probably get quite a few readathon vlogs and seeing me participate in those. So hopefully that's something you enjoy watching. Question 3, what are you most excited about with this channel? Again, kind of the same answers, just being able to participate in readathons. I'm not huge on Instagram or Twitter or any of that kind of stuff, so this is really my way of participating in those kind of things, and interacting with the readathon and the people participating in the readathon. So I love that. Just friendships that I'm making, I really am excited for that, to make more friends and deeper friends and just have people to talk about bookish things with. I love that, so I'm really excited for that. That's about it. Why do you love reading? So many reasons. I love it for relatability. One of my favorite genres is women's fiction. So I love being able to see myself or my situation reflected in a book. And I really enjoy that. But then I also really love thrillers and things that make me a little uncomfortable and more thankful and grateful for my safe, quiet life. So I really like that, kind of some escapism. I love nonfiction. I love nonfiction about parenting, running, also self-help, faith. I love things that kind of push me to grow in the things that are important to me, which are like health and fitness, parenting, my faith. So I love nonfiction for that reason. And I just love, it's a relatively cheap and portable hobby. So really anywhere you are now with ebooks and stuff, you can be reading anywhere. So I love that too. So those are just a few of the reasons I love reading. What book or series got you into reading? I am definitely going to have to say The Babysitter's Club. So I have the first 100 and maybe 120 books in the Babysitter's Club series. I think it's like 120 or 140 books in the series, and I remember reading those nonstop. As soon as I could read, I was reading those, and I just loved them, and I still love them. I have reread the first couple a couple times, and I just think they're so great. Yes, they're a little bit dated. They were written in the 80s and the 90s, but now as the mom of two girls, I hope to read those with my daughters at some point. I love them. I also have quite a few different middle grades. I loved a lot of the middle grade books that we read in elementary school, and yeah, I have always kind of been a reader. My grandma's a reader. My sister's a reader. My mom is an off and on reader. And so there's been so many things, but definitely the Babysitter's Club. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? Now, this is hard. This is really hard. So the things I wrote down were, do you feel pressure to read other things because of your channel? So that is one thing. I am a backlist junkie. I have 6 shelves in here, 2 of which are backlist, are completely backlist, unread books, and I love reading, or if I find an author that I love to go through their backlist. So having a channel, there is some pressure, I feel like, to read more new release stuff just because that's what people are reading. So that is more, you're more able to have conversations about it, because if you pick some obscure backlist, you and maybe one other person have read it. It's not highly relatable for people. So I would ask, do you feel pressure to read either new releases, YA, a genre you're uncomfortable with? Like, do you feel pressure to read something different because of your channel? And just kind of, how do you find the sweet spot of reading what you want to read, but also reading what's relevant to everybody else? So how do you find that balance? What challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? I think there are going to be a couple challenges for me. One, editing takes quite a bit of time because I say and that kind of stuff a lot. I also just do long vlogs, and so cutting those down to something that's reasonable and not blabbering on for too long, it makes editing a long, tedious thing. Also, just coming up with creative content. It's like at some point the well's going to run dry. I don't love doing TBRs and that kind of thing unless it's for a readathon. I really like to mood read. So some of the more standard booktube videos are just not really my thing. So coming up with creative content, and then also just, like I said, kind of the pressure to read other things. I can see that becoming a challenge, and just becoming, I can see myself falling down that rabbit hole of reading what I think other people want to see as opposed to what I actually want to read. When did you start reading? I kind of already answered this. I don't remember a time when I didn't read. From the time I was little, I loved to read. I think I started reading when I was like 4, maybe. And I have an older sister that was a reader, and she's 9 years older than me. So between her, she read to me a lot. My grandma read to me a lot, and then I just loved it. I also saw them reading quite a bit, and so I wanted to be like them. So yeah, I would say 4 or 5. And then where do you read? So this has kind of changed. I used to really love to read on the go. So if like we were doing errands, I would love to sit in the car and read. And if I could go to a coffee shop or something, I would love to sit and read there. And I still do like that. But now that I have kids, there's just not time for that. Like if you're on the go, I've always got my kid with me, and so it's like I can't focus because my focus is elsewhere. So now I really like to read in my basement. It's the most cozy spot. It's also a big playroom, so it's just a big dark spot with big pillows and that kind of stuff. So I like to read there. I like to read in my bed, but I'm honestly trying not to read in bed as much because I just am a terrible sleeper, and I think part of it is because now I have turned that into like a productivity space where I'm like, let's read. And so I wake up and I read, and it's almost become a productivity place. And so I have a couch in here, obviously. I like to read in here. I like to read in the living room or the basement, really anywhere. And then finally, what kind of books do you like to read? And so I've already kind of answered this too. I like to read everything. I don't love historical fiction, and I really don't like high fantasy. Some fantasy or sci-fi is okay, but I like it to be somewhat grounded in reality. And historical fiction is hit and miss for me. I'm not going to say I don't like the genre, because I've read some that I really do enjoy, but it's just not my favorite. Other than that, my favorites are women's fiction and like domestic thrillers. Again, things that aren't like exact reflections of my life, but that I could relate to. I really enjoy that. I also love nonfiction. And then I do like reading memoirs. I love memoirs. There's really nothing I will not read. So that is the Booktube Newbie Tag. I think I got all of the questions, and I'm just so excited to be back on YouTube. I've been here now for 3 or 4 months. I started my channel in December, so maybe even more than that. 5 months, I don't know. And I just am really excited to be back. Let me know if you are on Booktube or have thought about joining YouTube, what your answers to these questions are. I will leave them listed down below, and thank you for watching. Bye.